Game 2 here. This could very well be the final run for QG. Of course, forcing a Game 3 would be probably the hypest thing on planet Earth. And in fact, the Earth may explode, in which case we would not have a Game 3 because we'll all be dead.
I mean, yeah, we wouldn't have an SWC, we'd have nothing.
We'd have nothing, but it'd be hype. And if there's only one way to go, it's going being hype. You know, that's just it. But anyway, here we go, folks. Zeus gets banned right away, and that's going to be directed again toward QG. That Giannis is also going to take a seat. You don't want to have to deal with Giannis in those teleports, so good ban there. And
China really doesn't like Giannis at all. Like, both teams will ban him away regardless of the matchup.
What does Cloud9 look to ban here? Xingtian, Bologna. No, Sobek. They're going with the same thing.
There's no point in switching up the picks advantage. Your first pick once again.
Yeah, this is the same exact thing. Qiao Reapers, surprisingly enough, opting for that second pick. They lose game 1, they go for the second pick, and they didn't change their strategy at all. They left Xingtian open for Baskin, which is a very good soul laner, and they're going for the same thing. Unless they pick up Chiron here, I just don't understand why they would go for the second pick. And
this, was it OMG or QG who actually faced a Chiron earlier on and then banned it away in their next matchup? Because it had so much pressure. No, that was earlier on with Paradigm and OMGB, right? Game 1, they ran a Freya in the dual lane, OMG, against Funballer's Chiron, and then it destroyed them, and immediately the next game, they banned it away and picked up Neath something safer. So we could see QG go for something a little more safe this time, but Isis hovered, and I love this pick. I want them to be aggressive. Isis is the best mid for being aggressive.
All right, well, we'll see what happens here for Cloud9 as they're picking. They go for Thor. So again, expect to see that cause a lot of problems for QG as it did in the last game. Second pick coming through.
Look at Stealth right now.
Same thing.
Synced into his chair. He has no care in the world right now, just leaning back at all.
If you're running, why should you change, right? I mean,
makes sense, especially if the enemy plays right into your hands. But then QG decides, are they locking to Bacchus? Okay.
I like this so far. So this is honestly very reminiscent of Paradigm and OMG, where Cloud9 has drafted 2 frontliners early, along with the Thor, and QG has drafted the Bologna, Isis, and Bacchus. And I believe it was Bologna Isis was also paired over in that last game as well, and I think they had a Neath for the Hunter. So right now, this is kind of going the same way as the China versus EU matchup we saw.
Yeah, so one thing to see is how Cloud9 is prioritizing these picks. They could have picked up Chiron earlier on, but they're opting for this tanky frontline presence there in the Thor and the Khepri. Very safe and very standard for Cloud9. They're not really giving away too much information for future opponents if they do beat Qiao this
Okay, something we did forget to talk about, I know this is kind of going back to that game, but Jeff Hintla picked up a teleport.
Yes.
We don't really see supports ever pick up teleport. I know it's been played once or twice, but that's something that I know every other top team here is looking at.
I mean, it's a mobile bug, you know.
Mercury.
The hug bug goes.
The hug bug.
The hug bug goes global.
So, why the Thanatos ban?
It's just because it executes through Khepri Revive. So it's one of the few counters to that ultimate.
Okay, smart ban there from Cloud9 as Mercury gets picked up. What do you think about this Mercury pick? It's the first time we're going to see Mercury, as a matter of fact, right? Or maybe the second time.
I'm
old, you know, I forget things.
I believe it was Isurus that played against Qiao.
It was, yes.
Or OMG, yeah. So the Mercury didn't work out because it was against an Isis, but now you have Isis with Mercury Karen being hovered over. Amus and Cobb might get locked in here. You're up 1 game. You might as well lock it in, Barracuda. Nah, he's teasing us too hard right now.
Does he lock? He goes for the lock and
I this real fast.
Yeah.
No, don't disrespect him that much. Play your game, and that's what Barry's going to do. Final pick coming in, and Nox.
Oh, there we go.
Combo. This is something that's been talked about, but Nox has a tough time recovering if you're not feeling it and you don't hit your abilities, but Stealth, very confident. You have to be a very confident player to run Nox.
And the thing about LAN is it's a lot easier to hit your abilities on LAN, and Nox is one of those gods where it's a little hard to hit your root, but on LAN, it's a lot easier.
In my opinion, Nox is really strong, but it's just so hard to play her. But I feel like Mercury and Nox are the gods that we'll be looking at later on, like we're seeing them a lot.
Okay, interesting stuff there. Well, folks, that is it. It is all locked and ready to go for game number 2. Cloud9 versus QG Reapers. Can QG Reapers force a game 3, or will Cloud9 find their way to the semi-final? We will find out right now. Casters, it's all yours.
Thanks a lot, Golden Boy. We're back here, and one of the more exciting things here is that we're seeing, well, we almost saw the AMC, but we are seeing the Nox, right?
We're seeing Nox,
There you
and
go.
I'm excited to see Nox, and I expect what QE3Q just said backstage to come true. Mercury and Nox are the two that we're going to see a lot more of in the tournament as we get on to the later days. Early signs of seeing them.
Yeah, exactly. Nox is actually a really good pick against Mercury. What Nox brings to the table is a lot of control, has a root, has a silence, and not only that, has a dash to get away from the Mercury.
Biggest issue she has, though, is burst damage. Got a lot of control, but not a lot of burst damage. It's hard to confirm that burst damage for the most part. You need to rely on other magical damage from other sources. So when you do see this Nox, you're looking for the other people to put forward too. Jing 10 will help a little with that.
Of course, and don't forget the combination that Nox brings with the Thor. Nox able to go inside of Thor with her dash, and then Thor, all of a sudden, instead of just one person, there's two people coming down with a Thor dunk. So we'll see just how creative MLC Stealth decides to be with this Nox choice of his.
Give it up for Cloud9 and QG Reapers. Game 2 is about to begin. QG, they need to win this one to keep themselves with a fighting chance of getting into the next day.
So I like what Cloud9 did here, actually. They absolutely dominated QG, but they still had the respect to ban out the Thanatos, right? So QG understands it's a best of 3. They try something exciting with the Najat support. It doesn't work out. They go a little more traditional with a Bacchus. The Thanatos can still happen, so Cloud9 makes sure to ban it.
Exactly. I mean, Cloud9, they saw at the end of the game a little bit of the power that the Thanatos could bring against the Capri. The only reason why the Xing 10 died was because he got executed by the Thanatos. So they didn't want to deal with that at all this game.
Ice is going power pot here early on just to increase the amount of wave clear she can get at the beginning of this game. Mercury, not the best in terms of wave clear, like 1 through 3. It takes him a little bit of a while. Nox, however, with MLC Stealth here, he didn't go for the power pot. It was a good option to help the wave clear be a little bit more effective, but he's just going for the safer method so he doesn't have to invest in that pot.
Last time around, Cloud9 went 1, 2, 3 on both sides of the map, taking the back Harpies as well as the buffs. This time, more traditional, just the buffs.
Exactly. Like we said before, in the first game, they pre-planned, they expected the invades to happen. This game, based on the picks and bans of QG Reapers, they have no threat of an invade.
And now QG, well, they're just going to do what they can to continue farming up at the beginning. Knight has reached lane there, took Spirit Ball at the beginning of this one, and will be able to push this down quite significantly up against Stealth at the beginning of this game.
Stealth is going to be sitting on his tower for a while here, honestly. I mean, Isis is one of the more push-oriented mages, especially early on, and as you noted, Hindu, the power pot's just going to increase that.
A lot of aggression. That's a master loot. Got a good root off, but he can still be chased down here by the boys. The damage from Jeff. Look at him. There was a minion following too. We salute you, frontline minion.
Jeff Hinla, the first one on the board for Cloud9. It's a Kepri, but it's a kill.
Again, this is what Cloud9 likes to do. They like to pick the aggressive dual lane and look to make plays.
And they made it work for them so far. Now you can see Cloud9 once again going aggressive into the enemy jungle. They know they went to the left-hand side of QG, so they're going to go around and take the right.
So standard right here. This is just Cloud9 goes ahead and takes away the back camps. If QG decide to actually try, Cloud9 can fight him. It's a Thor.
It's standard for them to go in and invade, but it's a little less standard just because of how pushed up Jing 10 was on the tower. A little bit of less respect on the Bellona there as Stealth has to rotate back to mid, going to get flipped in. Silence too. Do they have any more follow-up onto this one? Doesn't look like at the moment. And Knight is now being rooted out and put the pressure on one more time.
Beautiful kill onto the Mercury. Knight's in some trouble now, surrounded by Cloud9. Couple of more basics out of the Mage. That's another kill. 2 kills in that exchange going the way of North America.
And Stealth and Nandi can just continue to farm up in mid. Now they hit level 5 as well after picking up those kills. Both with a quick trip back to base, probably for full boots or maybe beads as well.
Yeah, and this is the strength that the Nox brings to the 2v2. As soon as Mercury dashed in, she was able to silence the Mercury. Thor was able to stun him into the big burst damage of her 2.
And look at the synergy between the mid laner and the jungler there. You saw exactly when they were in base, MLC jumped inside and then jumped out for the additional mobility. So like small things like that, but that's one a combo that I've not spoke about just yet. Not
Here's
together.
Here's something interesting now. Mercury's usually start off with a sprint. We've all heard ad nauseum that sprint gives 32 damage. Right. Mercury started off with an Achilles Spear this time around. Now, Achilles Spear is about attack speed, damage in the mid lane.
It doesn't help you survive that. He's already dead. And Knight, there's a wall, and there's a body block from Andy, and Stealth gets a double kill once again.
And that's exactly what I was touching on. The Achilles Spear, just like its namesake, it gives you a lot of power, but it brings a downside. It makes you very easy to kill. And as Mercury has found out 2 times, it's not a strong
Yeah, at this point in the game, the Mercury can't even show himself against the Thor and Nox. They both have long-range CCs, and he doesn't even have beads yet.
Belgium is cancelled out by the abduct, and he has to flop away under the tower. Full wave coming in once again.
A lot of push coming out. There's a Merc. Oh, Barracuda gets hit. Barracuda gets thrown. This could be a kill if QG play it right. But a great ultimate by Jeff. That's why he's on the team. That's why he's the 6.
Did his job, sat back, waited for Barracuda to get very, very low. Didn't want to waste it, made sure it went off, and now Knight in mid lane being focused by Andy and Stealth once again. Hiding in the circle of protection, but not enough damage to secure the kill.
Beautiful.
Andy, though, he's got the damage to bring it to 6-0.
Andy's just so technically sound. Those basic attack cancels into the perfect hammer throws. Love to see that.
And if you notice, Annister stopped using his basics after his first hammer throw went out to guarantee the second hit back.
QG, though, did go and invade on that purple buff and steal that one away from Barracuda there. Put the pressure back onto them after they actually did manage to force out Jeff's ult early.
Game number 2 pretty much going the exact same way, honestly, as game number 1. Cloud9, I mean, to say they're off to a good start is doing them a disservice. They have just absolutely launched off the starting line, and QG doesn't seem to have made those adaptations. I mean, they didn't do the invade because it didn't work out, so maybe you can call that one that, but we haven't seen any sort of fix. Cloud9 still able to find the hole.
Yeah, this Nox pick's definitely surprised QG Reapers. It seems like they haven't had a lot of experience playing against the pick, and it's punishing them.
It is punishing them quite a lot, especially with Andy on that Thor as well. He's very, very experienced on that one. Now they're going to invade into the jungle once again, looking for the red. Unfortunately, though, QG have already taken that one down. But they will find Knight again in the mid lane, and the poor lad is under pressure one more time by 3 members. Andy picking up another kill.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's always so surprising. We saw it earlier on during that the early fight, like 1.5 minutes in, where MLC and Andy combined for those kills onto the mid laner and Mercury. Nox brings out a surprising amount of damage, almost like a Habwa.
Yeah, and one of the important things to note is how C9 pushes their advantage. Look how deep their ward coverage is. They even have wards at the enemy red buff.
There is a ward in the jungle there for the Chinese team, so they know what was up, but they're still going to go in and get bursted. One falls down. Mercury falls to Stealth again.
So much damage, to quote my friend Gandhi. 5 kills, 0 deaths, and 2 assists on the mid lane. Nox just MLC Stealth. Last year, he was your finals MVP. This year, he's looking very, very strong.
They're looking very, very good, and especially going into tomorrow as well. They're going to be having to face off against Fnatic or Epsilon. So one of those 2 teams will be in a great position to take them on. And the good news for Cloud9 as well, Zap, I guess, is the fact that they can sit back and watch that match later today.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think Cloud9 might have a little bit harder of a time than Enemy did against the European teams, because Cloud9 kind of plays towards our style, towards our picks and bans, and the way that Fnatic picked against us at Super Regionals was a complete counter. So I'm curious to see.
Threw you off completely.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that match will go.
And I mean, not for nothing, Epsilon versus Fnatic. I mean, those 2 teams were scrim partners for a while. Yeah. So there's a lot of secrets that are all on the board, really. It's just a matter of who's going to play the best. So.
And the big key for Cloud9, though, is that they've had this game against QG Reapers here. Because they got #1 seed in North America, it's allowed them not to have to reveal too many strats going into that game. Whereas those boys that we're going to see face off in game 4 today, the next one up, well, Mikas is dead.
Baskin understanding how his character works. I mean, picking this Xing Qian, that's just what Baskin does. Drops the dot, walks away. Barra's in some trouble. Thor's going to help out. Barracuda can't find the kill, so he'll fall down for QG's first kill of the contest.
They do get 1 kill, but they will get turned on as Basket makes the rotation, and Andy picks up If as well. A little bit of miscommunication there, though, between Jeff and Barracuda, as they both use their ultimates.
Yeah, you've actually seen that a couple of times this tournament. Chiron uses his ultimate at the same time that Khepri does. So it actually goes to show that a lot of teams don't have as much practice as they need to really master the Chiron mechanics.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we see a lot when it comes to things that break CC. A lot of times Hell, CC immunity, and beads that be used at the same time. Geb, shield, and beads. Those are the egregious things that we've seen teams do that early on when those characters were introduced. And now the top-end teams, they trust the Geb shield's going to break that CC.
Well,
so with Khepri being newer and Chiron, teams have to sort of work that out.
You also won't get Chiron on the same, Chiron and Khepri on the same team that often in scrims. Yeah. One of them will be banned for the most part. So actually understanding the mechanics of how the ultimates will interact with each other as well as be on the same wavelength can take a little bit of time for the teams.
A little bit of a lull in the action right here as Cloud9, well, the foot is still on the gas. Baskin not letting anything go. Gonna pick up that blue buff away from Mikasa and deal some damage while at the same time.
Is a Mercury and a Bacchus rotation coming in, but a little bit too late for them to really do anything about that. Speed buff is coming up soon, and you can see that the mid lane is trying to join them just to soak as much experience as they can.
Man, QG, they are just up a creek right now. They lost in game one. Like I said, I had a little bit of faith knowing that there was a 3-game set, but QG, they have to start pulling out all the stops here.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 is just going to keep on invading, continue to pressure all their buffs. I'm sure Cloud9 now knows that the red buff has respawned because they knew the timer from before.
One thing that I do think is in QG's favor is a Mercury instead of a Thanatos. Thanatos fails to get started. Well, he never really does anything. Mercury late game is a monster, regardless of how long it took him to get there. So,
but you need to get there first of all as we watch Mikasa under the tower being pressured by Baskin. Baskin realizes it's going to take him a little bit too long with his cooldowns to find that kill, but it will force him back.
That time, no dot.
But Mercury can't even get to late game. This is 9 minutes in right now, and it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, a Mercury behind, this far behind, especially going Spear as is active, just not going to really have the impact that he needs to have this game.
So, yeah, you know, the Spear doesn't even, to me, it doesn't even seem like a Mercury item. Mercury is a character that relies on those crits for sort of a 1-2 punch, not many, many smaller hits.
Yeah, I mean, he already does enough burst damage with crit items where he doesn't really need that active to push him over the edge.
So left on side, Stealth going aggressive onto If, going to find the root, and Andy follows up with a wall. Beads from If there to get himself away with the
Andy wants it.
But they're both going in.
Andy wants to land on someone. Instead, they're going right towards the Gold Fury. Cloud9 is going to force QG to fight or give up this objective.
Wanted to mention that as well a bit earlier on. Nox and Thor, the combination, they can jump inside. Nox can jump inside and then dunk down and explode even further damage.
Cloud9's very own type of special delivery. If gets hugged, if gets hit by the hammer, double tap. A little bit of damage coming by way of MLC Stealth. He gets the kill for the dozen on the side of Cloud9. Damage onto the Mercury. He's going to be in trouble. One more hit, but his ultimate goes the other way thanks to a smart wall coming out from Cloud9's jungler.
Andy wanted to try and chase there, but not going to find it. Snipes from Barracuda, put some good damage on Knight. Stealth under the tower, finds the root in the silence. The burst is good, and Stealth gets the kill as well.
MLC Stealth gets the Kepri ult because he knew the Neasel was enough. Beautiful, quick thinking coming out from the guys on the defending North American team.
Tier 1 tower does fall down. Tier 2 tower still standing right now. Going to put the pressure onto this one for the time being and see if they could bring this one down. Mercury round the side, but doesn't have his ultimate available.
And actually what you just saw there is actually Nox's strength against the Isis. Isis' main damage source and main clear is her Wing Gust, which gets interrupted by the huge AoE silence.
And it's also good against Bacchus too, because you get the silence on Bacchus, he can't belch, he can't flop away. Then you root and cripple him anyway with the root. So it's, you know, it's a very difficult matchup for Bacchus too.
Exactly, great against any god with channeling abilities.
And Neith another god is good against because she relies a lot on her abilities, backflip, spirit arrow, just to be able to get those abilities off in the first place.
Yeah, one more time, Cloud9 finds themselves in the lead by a long shot, just past the 10-minute mark by about a minute or so. And Cloud9 up, well, 5,000. Wow.
I am impressed by China this year. Even though this game doesn't look that good on paper for them, they've had a very, very good performance overall. They've managed to get themselves through to the second day. Both the Chinese teams got through. Take into account QG Reapers here. They were the #2 seed in China, so not the best team. We saw the #1 seed earlier on up against Paradigm, who put up a much better fight.
I mean, it's tough. They're up against the #1 seed of North America, and this is the kind of
world champions,
and you know, reigning world champions. So
you hate saying that, don't you? Why do you hate saying it so much?
It's tough for me to say sometimes. But
you had a world champion solo laner.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. So what do you need to steal next? Is it going to be Andy as well? Andy and Barra?
Just Andy.
Oh, you Barra?
Well, Andy and MLC Stealth are going to combine real quick. Right on down to Mikasa, already taken out. Now everybody's looking at Merc, at least for a second, until he disappears thanks to the hammer of Thor. 15-1 read the kills thanks to Cloud9, and they're going to take out a tower as well.
Not as slow this time around from Cloud9, though. Instead of like messing around in the jungle and taking away buffs, they're taking down the objectives. The tier 1s, the tier 2s are starting to be put to bed. Right-hand side, they're going to let blow in a free push. Let's just group up and look for a Phoenix on the left-hand side. We can even swing for a fire giant.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worst things you could do while you're ahead is defend the enemy split push. When the enemy split pushes like that, that says to you that's a desperation play. What you want to do is just group up, take as many larger objectives as you possibly can back and then do the even bigger ones like Fire Giant.
Did you see that as well, that Nox jumped inside and got the
fun.
free back?
Yep.
I love those little interactions. Red buff will be taken down here by Barra and Jeff, who are all alone here. May get collapsed on by QG if they realize they are all alone.
Yeah,
Will Knight come round?
Positioning looks really good for the red team. This could be a good opportunity for QG Reapers. It's a 4-on-2, but Andy comes from the right-hand side, turning the tables. This looks like a trouble for Master Lu, and it is. Andy puts another kill onto the board, and that is a dead mid laner as well. Mikasa will get away, but not before 2 members of his team take a spill. It's 17-1.
And this is kind of the strength of the double teleport that Cloud9 has, right? QG Reapers thought they had a big advantage in the 5v2. 2 people instantly teleport to a ward, and it's a 4v5.
And that's classic Andenster. We are so used to seeing this teleport all the time on Andy, and it's rare to see it on a jungler, except for Andy. It's anything but.
Eagles rally goes off by Mikasa just to get back to the Phoenix range. But the tier 2 tower falls in mid lane for Cloud9 as they pushed it on. They'll probably swing around towards right now and start cleaning up those towers too.
Yeah, you know, and one of the interesting things about Thor is every other jungler you can say to yourself, okay, I need these 2 actives. But when you think of Thor, after you get beads, what do you really need? You know?
Yeah.
Add extra mobility with the teleport.
Exactly. I mean, we used to see a lot of blinks even, and that was just sort of extra. So, you know, with Blink, the recent changes to Blink and everything, teleport just sort of feeds itself into being very good with Thor. And one of the problems about playing against Thor is how omnipresent he can be. He's just all over the map. Well, you put a teleport to wards in his pocket, and that's even more trouble. You never know where he's going to be.
Everyone in Cloud9 just went back to base for the most part there. Finished off some items. Book of Toth has been completed by Stealth there. Started to stack that one up. Looks like Andy's going for more actual penetration there as well. And Executioner being worked on by Barracuda.
Yeah, I mean, look for Cloud9 here to probably group up for the Gold Fury. Then after the Gold Fury, look to pressure the right side of the map, take the Fire Giant, and end the game.
Everybody's just so far ahead right now.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
It's almost it is a 10,000 gold lead. Going the way of Cloud9. Master Lu caught up. Half of his HP taken out by MLC Stealth, who is 4 levels his senior. And that's the mid lane versus the Hunter. So MLC Stealth looking in a good spot.
Just want to go back to Nox there. We mentioned at the beginning of this game, Nox does not have a lot of burst damage. That's the big key. They don't have a lot of burst damage on a Nox. She's so fed right now. If that was a Poseidon, that'd be dead. One shot. But the control was good. That's what Nox is going to bring in the later stages of this tournament if we see her played more.
Exactly, yeah. Nox is not really that kind of carry mage that you see out of Poseidon or Kronos or Agni.
Even Giannis. Like, Giannis with a burst is so much harder.
Exactly, but to complement that, that's why the Xing 10 pick is such a vital pick for the C9 lineup.
Right now, Cloud9 looking to make a push onto the right-hand side. They're coming from both angles, both in front and behind the tower. Mikasa trying to do what he can to prevent the left-hand flank. Knight is already toasted thanks to the hands of the jungler. He's not quite dead, but he's pushed out of the fight nonetheless. Andy is saved from across the map by Jeff Hindla. And Cloud9's going to look towards the mid-lane Phoenix.
That wasn't so bad for the boys at QG, but it's Master Lu's now cut out, so the rest of the team had to go back to base there. But Mikasa did his job. He got on Barracuda and split them apart and stopped the AD carry getting involved. But now they're looking at the Phoenix.
MLC is pretty low. If QG want to make a move, it's on to the Nox. If belly flops on a Barracuda, Barracuda down to 40% HP. Beautiful hit by Basket, going to control. And if we'll take a spill thanks to the Xing Qian dot. Mikasa in some trouble as well. MLC Stealth just dancing around with no HP, no fear on the mid laner, knowing that he has access to the Chiron dash.
Yeah, use the dash to get away from danger there and just leave Basket on the front line there just to zone them out and make sure he can protect and peel for his team once again. They do not find the Phoenix. Sorry, they don't find the Phoenix.
Nope.
So QG hold.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great hold by QG. It's very early in the game for C9 to be diving the Phoenixes and getting away with it as if it was 30 minutes in.
Right. And I mean, that's sort of, we were talking about how disciplined Cloud9 was not finding themselves behind tier 2s on Phoenixes. Well, all right, there we did see that. So Cloud9 has to retreat a little bit.
It's a bit tough for them because when it's 5v5, the other team is able to defend pretty well against the Phoenixes, and Cloud9 kind of has to force the situation in which puts them in harm's way.
Well, it's also, I mean, it's 19 to a single kill, Zap. And earlier in the previous game, I asked you about the mindset of QG and how important that is to have the momentum on your side. Well, sometimes you can get ahead of yourself and think you're actually more ahead than you actually are.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to fall into that trap, and C9's doing a good job of staying disciplined.
Talk about discipline, stealth going in there, getting the silence and the root off onto Master Lu. He will fall down shortly. Mercury comes in with the Sonic Boom, but can he get any damage off before he falls? Good backers and Intoxicate comes out from the belly flop, but Barra still managed to pick up Mercury, and we will see backers fall as well to Barra for a double.
Double kill onto the Barracuda. He's going to keep pushing down this mid lane. At Cloud9, all 3 Phoenixes are up for QG. Make that 2. Phoenix dead in the mid lane at the 18-minute mark. Credit goes to the blue and white.
Back we come once again. One interaction, remember with Nox, because she can keep going inside people and using that ability to escape, she can also go with them on teleports. She can go with them across the map and back to base. You'll see these rotations all the time from Nox, looking to get into positions.
Well, as we take a little break from the action right here, important to note, the Xbox Open Bracket Tournament has concluded. Envy with a 3-0 sweep will be your 4th and final contender. Hey, one of your teammates is on that squad. Omega, the world champion, is going to be fighting to be an Xbox world champion this year around. So we now have all 4 Xbox teams ready for their finals.
If Cloud9 win Worlds, and we also have Envy win the Xbox bracket, all 5 people from last year win Worlds.
That is an exciting stat. Omega, by the way, Omega is the player we're talking about. Previous solo laner for Cloud9. They made the swap earlier in the season around the fall split. Baskin came in as Omega went to join Zapman himself on Eager.
Fire Giant being done by Cloud9's 3 members do zoning duty, and by zoning, well, they're getting some pressure onto Mikasa, who was trying to make something happen. Blinking, and there's Baskin to secure this kill. More than likely, Eagles Rally used to get away. Good Spirit Ball will help him out for a second. Meanwhile, though, on the backside, is he going to find a steal here at all, the Mercury?
I love the moves coming out from Jeff, just barely avoiding death, making sure not to use his ultimate on himself. He wants to save that for his teammates. Meanwhile, off screen, Master Lu takes a spell thanks to Xingqian, and look at Nox in the enemy base.
Yeah, I mean, you actually got to give a lot of credit to the Mercury there. He did his job. 1v2, he stopped the free fire giant that Cloud9 thought they had.
Exactly. Cloud9, you talked in, I think it was game 1 or maybe the previous set, about how you don't always need 5 players to take the fire giant. And again, Cloud9, they take their lead and they try to play it, but maybe not as well as they thought they could have.
Right, I mean, Cloud9 did the same thing to QG the first game. They had 3 people zoning out 5 people. So what Mercury did, he remembered that. He actually went around the map underneath and stopped him from doing Fire Giant.
A little bit of a lull for a second as Aninsta did die there as well, but he does have a teleport available to him when he respawns, and will be looking for the Fire Giant more than likely with the whole team this time as Mercury, well, he's here, uses the beads early already. Barry's still going aggressive here, looking to try and box out a Mercury, and well, with that level and that crit, 1-2, gonna find the kills.
Again, great assist coming out from Jeff Hindley. He's just been such a good facilitator, able to use his Kepri pluck to make sure that nobody can get away. Andy, on the other hand, doesn't need a facilitator, doing it all himself in the mid lane. Barra as well. 3 members wiped off in 3 separate engagements for Cloud9. Now with this situation, I think Cloud9 is going to be able to take down the Fire Giant.
Yeah, this should definitely be a free Fire Giant. I'm actually surprised they didn't go for the win there. It was 2v5, and Neath hasn't even backed yet.
Well, you know what? There were 2 separate occasions in this game where Cloud9 tried to do something and didn't come up successful. I don't think they want to try it a third, right? Fool me once, fool me twice. You don't fool me 3 times. So they go for the Fire Giant. They play it a little bit safe. Still alive, though.
Taking a long time for it to bring that one down. Is an early Fire Giant, though, as well, but they are pretty fed.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're definitely fed here. Look for them to, they're probably not even going to back. They might just go for the left Phoenix and try to end the game here.
Yeah, Andy already pushed that one up, stopping Neath from being able to push any way further down that whatsoever. 5 minions still pouring down mid lane. That Phoenix will spawn relatively soon. Keep an eye on the flash to show the Phoenix is about to spawn.
3 members for Cloud9 grouped up on the left. They'll meet up with the other 2. All 5 are here. A beautiful ward by QG spots the rotation. And everybody knows where everybody is. All 5 members of QG gonna have to play defense on this Phoenix, but they're gonna have to do it while 15K down.
Yeah, and the problem for QG, they really have no easy target to burst down. Nox can get away, Chiron can get away. They have Kepri, they have Chiron all. It's impossible to kill anyone.
No engage at the Phoenix in the end by QG. They couldn't look to defend that one. Now we can see Cloud9 rotate to the right. There is a tower still remaining there as the middle Phoenix does fall once again.
Yeah, they remembered the tower this time around.
Have they? Yeah, they just about.
So Cloud9 heads over. They're going to look for this one, 1,500 gold one more time for taking this down. And we'll see Stealth is the one backing in front of the enemy this time, taking a page out of Baskin's playbook.
I want to see what he's going to buy now that he's gone that trip back to base. Is he actually going to pick anything up? No.
He's thinking about it, maybe. Yep, he goes ahead and buys a Heavenly.
Okay.
That's just going to allow his team to get into the base even more quickly. And that's exactly the type of item that you want to buy in the situation you're ahead. But when you buy these utility actives, they open up different doors for your team that might not have been opened without that item.
Exactly. I mean, it goes to show their discipline. They all had about maybe 2,000 gold in hand. They said, okay, let's not take the risk of throwing at the third Phoenix. Let's back. Let's guarantee this win.
This is what Cloud9 are doing here, though, guys, just so you all understand at home. They're actually trying to get the experience on the stage and with their computers and with their setups in this atmosphere. It's very important for them to do that going into tomorrow. So I can understand why they're taking it so slow and, you know, pacing this one out here, Zap.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get a really good feel for the LAN experience and the LAN environment, and they're doing a great job of that.
While still being respectful. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like they're dragging this one out. I mean, QG had to play defense and kick them off at the Phoenixes a couple of times. So I think Cloud9 just sort of woke up a little bit and said, hey, you know, there still is a team here at Worlds, and they're capable of playing defense. Now, this time around, though, I think this might be the final push. Almost 20,000 gold in the lead is the North American team. MLC Stealth in a little bit of trouble, but uses his dash to get away. All 5 members of Cloud9 are here. Jeff Hindla in tow. They're going to make a push onto the right-hand side, Phoenix.
Mercury is across the left-hand side, keeping out for his ultimate because QG have to defend here if there's going to be any hope in hell's chance of them defending and winning this game or coming back into it some way. It doesn't look like it, though. It actually looks like China. Both teams will be eliminated on day 2, and Cloud9 will more than likely be the final.
Yeah, 3 Firebirds down. Cloud9 now pushing onto the Titan. Isis ultimate is down. Knight trying to do what he can to save this game. And he takes to the skies looking for a kill. The Titan's under trouble. So are the members of QG. No deaths, but the Titan. Ladies and gentlemen, Cloud9 will be moving on to the court semifinals.